You trust your food. You walk into a restaurant, order something that costs less than a movie ticket, and assume nobody's trying to poison you or scam you. That's a pretty low bar, and somehow major fast food chains have still managed to trip over it in the most spectacular ways possible. Here's what actually happened when America's favorite fast food joints made headlines for all the wrong reasons. Every single detail is verified and true. No exaggeration needed. Let's start with the lawsuit everybody gets wrong. 1992, Albuquerque, New Mexico, 79-year-old Stella Liebeck orders coffee from a McDonald's drive-thru. Her grandson parks the car so she can add cream and sugar. The car has no cup holders. She puts the cup between her knees, opens the lid, the cup tips. Coffee spills on her lap. Now here's what most people think happened next. Old lady gets minor burn, sees dollar signs, sues for millions, becomes rich, retires to Hawaii. America loses its mind over frivolous lawsuits. Everyone starts putting warning labels on everything. The end. Wrong. Every single part of that is wrong. What actually happened would make you never want to drink McDonald's coffee again. The coffee was served between 180 and 190 degrees Fahrenheit. That's hot enough to cause third-degree burns in less than 3 seconds. Stella was wearing sweatpants. The cotton absorbed the scalding liquid and held it against her skin. She suffered third-degree burns over 6% of her body. Her inner thighs, her buttocks, her groin, her genitals. The skin burned all the way down to muscle and fatty tissue. She spent 8 days in the hospital. She needed skin grafts. She lost 20 pounds, dropping to 83 pounds total. She was in treatment for 2 years. And here's the kicker. She originally asked McDonald's for $20,000, just enough to cover her medical bills. McDonald's offered her $800. $800! So she went to court. And during the trial, some interesting facts came out. McDonald's had received more than 700 reports of people getting burned by their coffee between 1982 and 1992. 700, including children, including people with third-degree burns just like Stella. They'd already paid out more than $500,000 in settlements, and they knew their coffee was served 30 to 40 degrees hotter than most other restaurant stuff. When asked why they didn't change anything, a McDonald's quality control manager testified that this number of injuries was not significant enough to make them evaluate their practices. 700 burned customers. Not significant. The jury heard all this and got mad. Really mad. They awarded Stella $200,000 in medical costs. Then they knocked it down to $160,000 because they figured she was 20% at fault for spilling it. Fair enough. Then came the punitive damages. The jury decided McDonald's needed to learn a lesson. They calculated that McDonald's made about $1.35 million per day from coffee sales. So they awarded Stella 2 days' worth of coffee revenue, $2.7 million. The judge later reduced that to $640,000. Stella and McDonald's settled for an undisclosed amount before appeals. She never saw millions. She never became rich. The money paid for a live-in nurse because the burns and legal proceedings destroyed her quality of life. She died in 2004 at age 91. So that's the real McDonald's coffee story. Not a greedy scammer. A grandmother who got horrifically burned because a corporation decided 700 injury reports wasn't worth fixing a thermostat. Now let's talk about the woman who found a human finger in her Wendy's chili. March 22, 2005. Ana Ayala is eating at a Wendy's in San Jose, California. She's spooning through her chili, and boom, she bites down on something crunchy. She spits it out. It's a 1.5-inch segment of human finger, partially cooked, complete with fingernail. She immediately calls the media. She calls a lawyer. She files a claim with Wendy's. The story explodes. It's on every news channel. People are horrified. Wendy's stock tanks. Sales drop 50% at that location. The company loses millions. But then, things get weird. Forensic tests show the finger was not cooked at 170 degrees for 3 hours like Wendy's chili policy requires. It shows no evidence of having been bitten. And Ana Ayala has a very interesting background. Turns out, she's filed lawsuits against multiple companies. Like a lot of lawsuits. Suspicious number of lawsuits. Police start digging. They raid her Las Vegas home with 12 officers. They investigate every Wendy's employee. Did anyone lose a finger? No. Did anyone at the meat supplier lose a finger? No. Where did this finger come from? May 18th, they figure it out. The finger belonged to Brian Paul Rossiter, a co-worker of Anna's husband. He'd lost his fingertip in an industrial accident at an asphalt company in December 2004. The tailgate of a truck closed on his hand, severed the tip clean off. And here's the beautiful part. He sold the finger to Anna's husband for $50 to settle a debt. $50. Anna took the finger home to Las Vegas, cooked it in her kitchen, drove it to San Jose, ordered the chili, and dropped it in. She never bit into anything. She never ate it. The whole thing was a setup from the start, and it almost worked. She got arrested, went to trial. The judge was not impressed. Anna was sentenced to 9 years in prison. Her husband got 12. They were ordered to pay Wendy's $21.8 million in damages. Wendy's agreed not to collect as long as they didn't profit from the story. Anna served 4 years, got out on good behavior. And here's the really crazy part. In 2013, she was arrested again for filing a false police report after her son accidentally shot himself and she tried to blame someone else. Some people just can't help themselves. Moving on to Taco Bell. January 2011. An Alabama law firm called Beasley Allen files a class action lawsuit. The claim? Taco Bell's seasoned beef is only 35% beef. The rest is fillers, binders, chemicals you can't pronounce. They argue it should be called taco meat filling, not seasoned beef, because it doesn't meet USDA standards for ground beef. The lawsuit makes headlines instantly. Everyone who's ever eaten a Taco Bell taco suddenly questions their life choices. Social media explodes. The memes are brutal. South Park had already made jokes about it years earlier. Now it seems prophetic. Taco Bell does not mess around. They launch a massive counter-campaign, multi-million-dollar advertising blitz, full-page ads in major newspapers, YouTube videos. They create content featuring their food scientist. They release their full ingredient list publicly, and they keep repeating one number: 88%. Their beef is 88% beef, not 35. 88. They spend between $3 and $4 million defending their reputation. They demand the law firm prove their 35% claim, show us the lab results, name the testing facility, provide documentation. The firm can't or won't. They never produce the evidence. April 2011. Less than 3 months after filing, the law firm voluntarily withdraws the lawsuit. They issue a brief statement saying Taco Bell made changes to their disclosure and marketing practices. Taco Bell fires back immediately. They say the lawsuit was baseless from the start and they wish the attorneys had contacted them before filing. So what's actually in Taco Bell's seasoned beef? It's 88% beef and 12% seasoning and other ingredients. Water, isolated oat product, salt, chili pepper, onion powder, tomato powder, soy lecithin, sugar, garlic powder, cocoa powder for color, caramel color, natural flavors, yeast, modified cornstarch, citric acid, and some other stuff to keep it fresh and help it bind together. Is it premium? No. Is it 35% beef? Also no. It's fast food taco meat. You get what you pay for. Nobody's confused about that, except apparently one Alabama law firm that couldn't back up their claims. Next up, Subway. February 2014. A food blogger named Vani Hari, who goes by Food Babe online, launches a petition. She wants Subway to remove a chemical from their bread. The chemical's name is azodicarbonamide. Can't pronounce it, neither can anyone else, but she gives it a nickname everyone can remember: the yoga mat chemical. Why? Because azodicarbonamide is used to make yoga mats and shoe soles and other foamed plastics. It makes them soft and spongy, and Subway puts it in their bread as a dough conditioner to make the bread rise better and stay soft longer. The petition goes absolutely nuclear. 67,000 signatures in 2 days. People are horrified. You're telling me I'm eating yoga mats? The media picks it up. It's on every news show. Subway is getting destroyed. Here's the thing though. Azodicarbonamide is FDA approved for food use, up to 45 parts per million. It's been used in commercial baking for decades. It's in hundreds of foods: Pillsbury, Sara Lee, Wonder Bread, Little Debbie, McDonald's, Burger King, Starbucks. Almost every major chain uses it in something. But Subway has a problem. Their whole brand is built on being fresh and healthy. Eat fresh, that's the slogan. You can't have eat fresh and yoga mat chemical in the same sentence. The PR disaster is immediate. Subway announces they're removing it. They say the process already started in late 2013 and will be complete soon. April 2014, it's gone, completely phased out. And once Subway pulls it, everyone else follows. McDonald's removes it. Wendy's removes it. Chick-fil-A, White Castle, Jack in the Box, all gone. Nobody wants to be the chain still using the yoga mat chemical. Was it dangerous? The FDA says no. Scientists say the amount is so small it doesn't matter. But the court of public opinion doesn't care about parts per million. It cares about yoga mats. And once that comparison stuck, the chemical was doomed. Vani Hari and her 70,000 signatures killed a 50-year-old industry practice in less than 3 months. Finally, The big one, pink slime, March 2012. ABC News runs an 11-part series. The topic, lean, finely textured beef. The industry calls it LFTB. ABC News calls it pink slime. And that nickname changes everything. Here's what LFTB actually is. When you butcher a cow, you get cuts of meat, steaks, roasts, ground beef, but you also get trimmings, little bits of meat mixed with fat that are too small to use. Before the 1990s, this stuff went into dog food or got rendered into oil. Then a company called Beef Products Incorporated figured out a way to save it. They heat the trimmings, spin them in a centrifuge. The fat separates from the lean meat. Then they treat the lean part with a puff of ammonium hydroxide gas to kill bacteria. What's left is basically pure lean beef, 94 to 97% lean, and they add it to ground beef to make it leaner and cheaper. By 2012, it's in 70% of ground beef sold in America. Most people have been eating it for years without knowing. Then ABC runs their series. They show footage of the pink paste being produced. They interview a USDA microbiologist who sent an email back in 2002 calling it pink slime. They talk to another former USDA inspector who says it's economic fraud. And they use the phrase pink slime 137 times in 4 weeks. The public loses its mind. Petitions start immediately. Get pink slime out of school lunches, get it out of grocery stores, get it out of everything. Within weeks, 250,000 people signed petitions demanding it be banned from schools. Major grocery chains panic. Kroger announces they're stopping. SuperValue stops. Safeway stops. Everyone stops. Beef Products Incorporated goes into crisis mode. They lose 72 customers in 1 weekend. 1 weekend, production drops from 5 million pounds per week to under 1 million. They shut down 3 of their 4 plants. 700 workers get laid off. The company loses over $400 million. The USDA tries to defend it. They say it's safe, it's nutritious, it's been approved for over 20 years. Doesn't matter. Once something gets called pink slime on national television, it's over. By March 2013, only 5% of ground beef still contained LFTB, down from 70% a year earlier. Beef Products Incorporated sued ABC News for $1.9 billion. Defamation. The case dragged on for years. They finally settled in 2017 for an undisclosed amount. Reports suggest at least $177 million. ABC admitted no wrongdoing, but paid out anyway. Was LFTB dangerous? No. The science says it's safe. Was it gross? That's subjective. Is mechanically separated beef paste treated with ammonia gas appetizing? Not really. But neither is knowing how hot dogs are made, and people still eat those. The difference is nobody called hot dogs pink slime on ABC News. So there you have it. 5 fast food scandals. 1 grandmother who got 3rd-degree burns and everyone called greedy. 1 woman who cooked a severed finger and planted it for a payout. 1 law firm that claimed beef wasn't beef and couldn't prove it. 1 blogger who killed a 50-year-old dough conditioner by comparing it to yoga mats. And 1 meat industry practice that got destroyed by a 2-word nickname. The lesson. It doesn't matter if you're technically right. It doesn't matter if the FDA approves it. It doesn't matter if you've been doing it for decades. Once the public decides your product sounds gross, you're done. And if your product can be summarized in 2 words that make people gag, you're especially done. Welcome to modern food safety, where perception matters more than science, where a catchy nickname can kill a billion-dollar industry, and where a 79-year-old woman asking for $20,000 to cover her medical bills somehow became the poster child for frivolous lawsuits. The food is still cheap, the marketing is still everywhere, and some